Good morning, everyone. If I could have your attention, thank you for coming today. Happy New Year, and especially thank you to the gallery venue, the Pigeon team for hosting us. We're all excited. There's excitement in the city right now, and a new year for NACE. So let me get started with just saying that we are starting off strong. We have about 60 people here today. We have about 80 members. If you're a future member, could you please stand and be recognized if you're a future member and hopefully might join this year? Yay, thank you. Just one more, we have some NACE royalty in the house. We have Michelle Dunnick, CPCE, if you could stand please. Michelle is our previous NACE National Past President, and she's also an ambassador for our Experience Conference coming today in August, which we'll talk about. All right, so I was asked to give a little introduction about myself. This will be very short. First of all, I just wanted to say I'm very honored, grateful, thankful to be here. And I couldn't go any further without thanking Jessica Burke, who has led our organization for 2 years. Jess, could you stand up, please? Give her a round of applause. When Jess became president, attendance was lower coming off of COVID. We used to be, before COVID, we were super strong, and it was tough. It was tough for everybody coming off of COVID. But Jess and the board did a great job at building the organization here, the chapter back up. So thank you for all you've done. Thanks the board, and I'm thankful for the Messina team who's here supporting me. And if it wasn't for me having such a great team behind me, I wouldn't be able to do what I love, which is NACE. This is my passion, and I think you'll see that over the year. So just a few things, if I could go through. I mean, this is gonna be super quick. Just so you know, I've been in NACE for 25 years, which is, y'all are like, what? Okay, I was like this. My big toe is in, my big toe is out. I would come, I'm an introvert really, so I'm not very outgoing for things like this. But like, I would come to a meeting once a year, and then, when I came, it was kind of like a big family reunion. I wasn't in the family because I was in Jefferson Parish at the time, just one little restaurant and one little upstairs space. But it grew and grew, and after about 10 years, Mike Rayborn's here, Michelle Dunnick, they're like, Stacy, join a committee, and that way you'll get involved. So I thank them for that. I did join some committees. I joined the board. That's my NACE overview of how I got involved. I'm passionate about it, like I said. Company-wise, my husband and my son and I own Messina's Catering. We have venues and some off-site catering. We do catering. We do a few schools, not like Pigeons, but little dab in that. We do a lot more too. But my background, I've been everything from working for the CBB when I was 21 to a hostess at a restaurant, the front desk clerk at the Marriott. So I mean, I've done this and it's in my blood. My great-grandfather was Felix Rando, and he started Felix's. And so my grandmother would always say, whatever you do not get into the restaurant or hospitality business. It's terrible, you have no life. Well, what did I do? I married my husband, George. We've been married 40 years. He was in the restaurant business. And so now we, have grown the company. We have some, like I said, venues, and I'm not going to go into all that. But we've been married 40 years on a personal note. 40 years. We have 3 children and 2 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Yeah, and that's us. We're horse people, so just so you know, you might see some weird pictures of me on Instagram. But this is my family. My son and his wife live in Louisville, and my daughter and her wife live in Brooklyn, New York. And Andrew has the 2 children, and we have 1 on the way. So that's my rock. So just so you know where I'm coming from. Thought that was important. All right. Well, thank you. We are going to now introduce Grace Williamson, who is with Foley Fett Event Production. And she is our Director of Strategic Partnerships. She's going to tell you a little bit about our sponsors today.
Sorry, I just had a very large bite of focaccia, so. poorly timed. Thank you so much to our sponsors. My name is Grace Williamson. I own an event planning and design company called Foley Fets. I am so appreciative of NACE and the NACE family who have just been amazing to me. So it is also my passion. I have the very great privilege this year of connecting people and empowering your businesses. So that's through sponsorships of venues and linens and florals and all of the other things that allow us to showcase your business in front of all the people in the event industry in the city and the state and the whole region. Today, specifically, I'd love to thank Pigeon Catering, who have so generously donated almost all of the things I just listed. But it is beautiful in here, y'all, and the food is delicious so far, and I can't wait to see what else is to come. So thank you so much, Pigeon. You guys are wonderful and always such a great supporter of NACE. I also would love to thank Donovan Calfee with Calfee Productions for providing all of this amazing AV and tech and everything. Jessica Burke with Now Weddings Magazine. Technically, I'm a sponsor, so thank me. And then also Victoria F Photography, sorry, right here. Your Day Productions for videography and Victoria F Photography. I just learned that we're filming and recording all of this, which is amazing. I think the speaker, who I'm not in charge of introducing, but is amazing, to have that resource is incredible. While I'm up here, because this is my job of the year, I would also love if any of you in this room would like to be featured for the year, please reach out to me. I sent out a big email last week. Time is very relative for me right now. Recently, I sent out a big email. I am moving and grooving on filling those spots, and they're filling very quickly. So if you want your business to be featured or rentals to be donated or a venue, please tell me very soon. Otherwise, we will love to have you in 2027. That's all I have. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to hear everything today.
Thank you, Grace. We do have a sign-up list today, too, if you're interested in being on a committee. It's at the front desk, so if you want to take a look at that on your way out later. All right. Okay. We have an amazing year ahead. Just wanted to touch on some of the things that you can look forward to for our NACE chapter. Education and sponsorship opportunity. We're going to have about 6 programs this year. This is the first one. We're going to have, this is a very, very, very special year. We have the NACE National Conference, which is going to be held in New Orleans for the first time since 2011, and it's going to be held August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the New Orleans Marriott. So please plan for that. There's information that'll come. I'm sure you're going to be sick of us talking about it by the time August comes. But yes, and we'll also have, for business and growth, the networking, 3, at least 3 or maybe 4 member mixers. We have one after this event across the street at Common House. They have graciously invited MPI and NACE to have a glass of bubbly after this program. So if you're interested, please, we'll be going across the street to mix with the MPI folks, who are also our folks. We're both. It's like half of our team is over there, that won't happen again, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, community involvement. The fundraisers that we do, Brendan, he does an amazing job planning. He's already planning our Tasty Bites this year, and also our other fundraisers that we have planned, dual events like I just talked about, whether it be with Chamber of Commerce or New Orleans and Company. Chapter leadership opportunity, attending Evolve, that's coming up. Our board, some of our board members will be going to Nashville to meet with other chapter leaders and learn what they're doing across the country for the other NACE chapters and bringing it back and implementing it here. So that's exciting. All right, so my challenge to you today for the year is to get involved. Join a committee that interests you. Learn all you can about industry topics. The website of nace.net has a wealth of information there on every topic. Set a goal to be a CPCE. We have some people in here who are actually studying for the CPE, planning to take it the next month or two. So please reach out to any board member. And just meet everyone on the membership roster. Maybe make it a goal like, okay, in the next 6 months, I'm gonna meet everyone that I can, so that you know everybody in the room. Invite a possible future NACE member to a meeting, bring them with you. Volunteer to be a business sponsor for a program or mixer like Grace just was talking about. And then attend or volunteer for the NACE experience. These are all great opportunities that you can take advantage of. All right, so I had a theme for this year, but our new mayor, Moreno, kind of took it. So we are all in. So I'll come up with a new theme for this year. Jump in, okay? Woo! So please jump in however you can. Start small like I did, just dip your toe maybe in a little committee. Whatever you like to do, whatever your interests are. If you like social media, if you like membership, you love recruiting people, please. The more you get put into something, of course, the more that's going to come back in return for you. All right, on to new board inductions. I'm going to invite Michelle Dunnick up, and should the NACE board come up all together? Yes, okay. Everyone, if you could come on up. Michelle Dunnick, CPCE, will do the honors for us.
Hi everyone, as Stacy said, I'm Michelle Dunnick, CPCE, and I have the pleasure of installing the 2026 NACE New Orleans board. Installing chapter officers into their board positions is one of the most rewarding occasions. The strength of our association is due to the infrastructure of our local chapters. These local leaders have a great deal on their shoulders. They need strategies that work in our own marketplace, also work effectively with our national initiatives. Our association, founded in 1958, is the oldest and largest professional association for catering and event professionals. We will continue to look to these local leaders to provide the networking and career educational demands of the 21st century of NACE members. Now will the following individuals please present themselves? Stacy Messina, CPCE, President. Jessica Burke, Immediate Past President. Jean Nagrath, Vice President. Lizzie Mayer Wong, Secretary. Jenna Baruna, Treasurer. Megan Cattengell, Director of Membership Engagement. Jason Lewis, Director of New Membership. Monica Indigen, Director of Programs and Education. Grace Williamson, Director of Strategic Partnerships. Kenesha Richard, Director of Technology. Taylor Van Hess, Director of Marketing, and Brendan Giuseppe, Director of Fundraising. Raise your right hand. Please stand and take the oath of office. Do you, on behalf of NACE New Orleans chapter of the National Association for Catering Executives, solemnly swear to perform your respective duties with diligence, dedication, and professionalism? Work together as a governing team with sincerity, good humor, and uphold the bylaws, chapter mission, statement, code of ethics, and strategic plan of this association with vision, commitment to the best of your abilities. If so, please answer, I will.
I will.
And now to you, our members and guests present here this afternoon. Your elected officials have made a commitment to fulfill their responsibilities. However, their goals cannot be met single-handedly. They need each of you. And by your attendance and enthusiastic support of NACE, both locally and nationally, your leaders can achieve success on your behalf at the highest level. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm round of applause greeting your new board of directors.
Thank you.
I will now turn the meeting over to your new president, Stacy Messina, CPCE.
Thank you. Thank you and congrats. Should we get a picture real quick or after? We'll do it after. Thank you. Yay! All right. Y'all, please enjoy your lunch as we go. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to our Director of Programs, the amazing Monica Indigen, who is with Real Photo Booth and going to introduce our phenomenal guest speaker today.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy to have you. I have the pleasure of introducing our wonderful speaker today, Leigh Cambre, like Toyota Camry, but with a B. Our keynote speaker is a former industry leader who knows exactly how to build a business that runs without you. After graduating from the University of Texas at Austin, hook 'em horns, I'm from Texas too. Leigh Cambre brought his Southern hospitality to the most competitive market in the world, becoming the go-to maitre d' in high-stakes New York event world. He founded Alexander Staffing, a premier hospitality temp staff and event company where he doubled revenue year over year, eventually replacing himself as CEO and then selling the company in 2024. His clients include the likes of American Express, Goldman Sachs, the Museum of Modern Art, Alicia Keys, Charlize Theron, and many more. Now, as a business coach, keynote speaker, and an Enneagram expert, Leigh blends the warmth of a sixth-generation Texas with strategic grit of a New York City entrepreneur. He eagerly helps establish business owners, especially women and LGBTQ+ leaders, move from busy business owners to vacation-ready CEOs. Please join me in welcoming Leigh Cambre.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to be here. Oh, I'm gonna unplug that. Oh, New Orleans. Come on, New Orleans. I'm so excited to be here. Y'all do such a good job of giving yourself culture here that I am just like coming from Texas where we're real proud, and then moving to New York where no one cares. I don't care where you're from. I'm from New York. I don't care, you know. Coming to New Orleans, I immediately felt y'all's energy, and it's so nice. It's so refreshing. Walking down the street, hearing a jazz saxophone just for no reason. You know, walking down the street, hearing French for no reason. You know, walking outside, 200% humidity for no reason at all. But, you know, I'm comfortable with it. Coming from Houston, I get it. I'm so with y'all on this, and I love it. This is a little bit about me. Let's see if we can get this going. Y'all already heard about me, but there's a slide, and I can give y'all the slides later. Thank you. Thank you. I was hitting the wrong direction. A little bit about me right here, but you've already heard the introduction, but I just wanted to also share a little slide that has me going in here. And so today we're going to be talking about simple systems for profit, protection, and peace of mind. And so I want to start out, for me, what changed everything. After I hired my first CEO, I was incredibly nervous. Here I had created a company that I was super proud of, and now I needed to give my baby to someone else. And so I was incredibly meticulous about teaching all of the systems I had in my business so that he would be able to replicate it and I wouldn't have to worry about it. And I remember on day 4, you know, I'm going chronologically with the way that I walk through any leader in my business of how is it that I get customers and clients? What does that onboarding process look like? What does the customer experience look like? Okay, that's the outward. Now let me go in the inward. Okay, what does it look like internally for us? And then the next step, and he stops me and he goes, Leigh, I am so impressed with what you've done with your business. It is ready to explode. Your infrastructure is crazy. Oh my gosh, it is so set to double again in revenue. And so outwardly, I was like, oh, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. But inside, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This CEO had come from a company with $2 billion of revenue to take over my company and he was raving about what I built inside. Huh? And so that got me to change what I'm thinking about my own business, and I started to look at my clients differently. Now, of course, they were seeking the system knowledge I had, but I thought it was because, that's just those people that were seeking it out for me. But then I realized it's not just them. When I had clients that had multi-million-dollar revenue at their company, they had the same systematic questions and issues. There was something that I was doing different. And that's when I realized that not everyone is taught to look at their business like a product instead of a job. This is the shift we're going to be talking about today. And so as we go into it, I want to invite you to think about this in 3 different ways, and also so you can understand the framework within which I'm coming from as I speak to you today. The first thing is, your time is valuable, and I want to honor that, and I know that. Because each of you paid to be here, or your company did, and you are sitting here, but you are giving your time. And I respect that in a big way, and I want you to know that I recognize that. The second thing is that AI is out there. You don't need me to find all of the details. At this point, information is a commodity. And so I look at this as an integration opportunity. And I invite you to come up with that kind of mindset as well, that this is not just about hearing the information, but also integrating it today. And so I'm going to allow for moments about that. And then also the idea that you're going to get insight, but I want change. I want you to look at your business differently, starting today. And so I invite you to hold the same mindset here as we go through this. And so one of the best ways that we're going to be able to do this is if we have opportunities of engagement between each other. And so I'm going to open and close with opportunities for y'all to be with one another, because there's a lot of amazing humans in here. And so I want to give you a chance to connect with other people in here, because that is how you get a chance to integrate, is for you to show up as you in this, not just listen to me. Because the first thing to know is connection. That's a strategy I'm bringing here. The smartest person in the room is not me, it's us. And so I want to pull that collective wisdom and start for you to see the resources you have in this amazing organization. Whenever we are doing breakouts, I want you to have the opportunity to not fix anyone, not advise, not correct, just witness. Until you are witnessed with your truth, you might hold up walls. And so I'm going to teach you a mini paradigm of how to do this. But what I'm going to offer is that as we engage, no fixing, no correcting, no advising, just witness the person there. Vegas rules apply. Please, whatever stays here or says here, please keep it here. And so if someone says something that you gather might be confidential, listen to your gut about that. And then as always, you're here by choice. You are invited to participate in all of this, but there's nothing you have to do. You aren't required to do anything, and so I want you to know that. I want you to feel like you have choice in this, and you do. You really do. In front of you is a worksheet and pens if you want to follow along and write in here as you're doing it. For the sake of integration, I invite you. There's also a notepad. There's another opportunity for you to reflect there. Just so you know, before we go into any breakouts, I'm going to give you solo reflection time, because you are going to be more grounded in what you do if you have the chance to, on your own, come up with your own answer. Your response and experience is going to be more rich. So before every breakout, I'm going to pause and allow you some solo reflection time. And so that's what this pen and paper is for. I want you to have the opportunity to get to write that. And I'm going to direct you through it. I'm going to show you when that happens and when the right time is for that. I have 3 questions for you, and I want to hear it from you with nods or thumbs up or yes. The first question is, do I have your permission to teach you new methods on how to do things that may challenge how you already do things? Are you down for that? Awesome. Yep. Thank you. The second thing, do I have permission to name the human side of what these systems bring? Because there are humans behind every system we have in our business. Is that okay? Awesome. And finally, do I have your permission to get 2 minutes of quick feedback at the end? Because I am a big person on closing the loop. I can't get better if I don't hear from you. And so I want this to be a full circle moment. Is that okay? You're down with that? I appreciate that very much. Thank you. So we're going to start right away with a chance for you to be with other people. And so just so you can know what's coming, I'm going to put a question up here. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to reflect on it by yourself. And so you're just going to have time to sit down and write things. And then I'm going to break you up into groups. So that's what's about to come up here. So here's the question. When you think about your work or business right now, which matters most to you? Is it profit? Is it protection? Or is it peace of mind? So go ahead and take 2 minutes right now and answer that for yourself. Get that piece of paper and start writing the answer for that. What is the truth for you about that? If you're still writing, keep writing. I'm just going to talk you through what's about to come up. So I'm going to have you get yourself into groups of 2 or 3, and then I'm going to have each of you get a chance to answer. And so the first person is going to share with the other people their answer to the question. If you're one of the listeners, I encourage you to listen for something that you can reflect back and say, hey, that was interesting to me, or that's really neat, or oh, okay, thank you for sharing that. You know, something to acknowledge them. And I'm going to give each of the other people a chance to acknowledge, and then the second person to acknowledge the person. And then we're going to rotate so that everyone gets a chance. And so I'm going to give you 6 minutes in a group to do this. And so that everyone gets 2 minutes to share. This is not your chance to do an Oscar nomination speech. You know, this is just a chance to share your answer and be acknowledged. And then we're going to come back and share some voices in the room because I want to hear about it. My challenge for you right now is to get yourself in groups of 3. If 2 is there, that's fine. But ideally with someone that you know the least at your table. And if you feel excited to switch a table, I see some empty chairs there, but find people. This is your chance to meet some new people. So here's the question again. I'm going to give you 6 minutes here. So go ahead and find yourself groups of 3, ideally with new people, and go around, and I will keep time for you. I will let you know when we hit the halfway spot, but have at it, all right? All right. As you wrap up, I want to have the opportunity to bring some voices in the room. I hope you're feeling a little more connected, a little more energized. I hope you met some people at your table. Who noticed or shared something? Who would like to share something that they noticed or appreciated or observed or surprised them about what they heard? I'd love to get 2 or 3 voices to share. Yes?
Our table noticed that they all 3 connect. It just kind of depends on where your company is and where you're at.
And tell me more about that, the connection of what was the common thread?
Well, I had said that the profit store, the mechanics, that's the first thing you need to get sorted. And then once you've got a machine, you want to protect it. And then once you get to this sort of more luxury place where you're able to step aside from the business, then you really just want to make sure that things can operate without you having to worry about them. So you get peace of mind as sort of that last round of achievement.
Absolutely. All 3 of these are vital pieces to your business. And to his point, the stage at where you're at is going to change which one of these might be the focus. They're always, all 3, going to be a focus, but one might be louder. What else? Who else wants to share?
I said the same thing for the record.
I love it. She said, me too. I love that. Who else wants to appreciate what they heard at their table? Everyone else said, yeah, me too, same, yeah? One more person. Who wants to share? Yes?
We actually all somewhat work for, we have 2 that work for a family-oriented business and then corporate. So obviously profit is the numerator, and then after that, obviously you do well with profit and then got peace of mind. Is that nice?
Yes.
That was our common denominator actually.
Yes. I mean, you know, the truth is about our business is that we need to be profitable in order to stay alive. And so there can be a really tight connection between the 3. It's not that one exists separate from the others. It's that the profit may lead to peace of mind. Yes, one final one. Yes.
We sort of had a similar view, which was that profit was internal and we can use that for our clients. So we were all on the same page that we were worried about profit out for growth will be, but that we were focused on how we can use that for those who are actually doing those spaces.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Places or spaces that we're all working within.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, this is the gift of having the awareness of all three of these pieces. I'm giving you language to all parts of your business, but where your attention can land and how you can modify profit, protection, and peace of mind is the point of where we're going to today. So I want to thank you for sharing it. And by the way, I want to go back and get everyone to please say their name again, because this, again, is another opportunity for you to meet other people. This is my fault for not asking it right away. So could you please, the four of you that spoke, give us your name again.
Michelle Dunn.
This is Michelle from NACE.
I'm Monica.
Monica, who is one of your new board members.
Melissa with Toby Swarming and Cannery.
Thank you, Melissa. Andrew, thank you all very much for sharing. Thank you so much. The thesis of what we're talking about today is to help you think like a CEO. And this is true no matter what your role is. Whether you own the business, whether you work inside of a business, or whether you're a solo operator, there are benefits and it will change your life to learn how they think, because then you'll be able to appreciate and tune in to all of the decisions they're making. And so this is my goal with what we're doing today. The big difference that I want to go back to, I want us to lean back into this concept. A job depends on you. A product that you offer is something you can delegate, sell, innovate, change, and you can separate from. And so this is especially true if you're in a role. If you're in a role and you want to go on vacation and it's a job, then you're going to be called on vacation if you're needed. But if you can turn your job protect it into a product, then someone else can take care of it for you while you're away. And that's the same even as you scale. A CEO's job is to look at the entire business like a product that you can give away, so that the CEO can have mental health days as well, so that everyone in the team can accept and understand every position of the role. This is why I encourage cross-training of roles, not just to understand other parts of the business, but that so people are allowed to be sick and can go on vacation, and that you can trust others to do these roles. Now, if you can't give what you're doing away, all it means is it's not a system yet. But it will be after I'm done with you, all right? We got to turn everything you're doing into a system. And one of the biggest things I've heard about this, and let me back up. What I told my business coach years ago was, what I do with staffing, it's an art, because this client is unique and they need these kinds of staff, and this client wants all the attractive staff, and this client wants all the smart staff. And so there's an art in how I'm doing it. And she was like, art is just a system undefined. Huh? Oh, and so what came out of it for me was a way to categorize my staff into how I was thinking. It was a way to give a number to S, service, L, leadership, A, the appearance standards, and Y, how many years they've been in the business. So I had a rating system called SLAY, and it worked out so well. I was able to give it to my booker, and she understood, Leigh, I know how to slay that. I'm like, perfect. This is exactly what I want. And now she can do it for me, and I could walk away. That's the point. I hear this a lot too, and I understand the fear around this. When you're in a corporate environment, all these systems, it kills the creativity. The notion here is, if you do systems correctly, they protect the creativity. And I want to talk about the spoon theory. Has anyone heard of the spoon theory before? The idea with the spoon theory has to do with, let's say, chronic fatigue syndrome, an undefined illness, and so we're going to call it chronic fatigue syndrome, as we can't name it yet. My mom was someone that suffered from this until they gave her a diagnosis. And so the idea with the spoon theory here, let's say I have, as a typical energy person 20 spoons a day that I can spend. And so I spend 5 of them today preparing for this talk with you today. I spend 10 actually giving it to you. I spend 5 networking afterward. I think I did my math wrong. Let's say 3 afterward. And that leaves 2 to get wasted at the end of the night on Bourbon Street. Okay? That's my 20 spoons. Well, someone with chronic fatigue, they may only have 5 spoons for the entire day. And so it helps you think, okay, well then how am I going to A, explain it to someone, now they understand it, but B, if I only have 5 spoons, how am I going to spend those very precious 5 spoons? Systems are here to protect your spoons. Because if you're having to recreate what you're doing every single time, you are spending spoons on it. And so this is why you have the systems, to understand the framework around it and allow you to save spoons for what really matters, which is the fires and the things that change, okay? So these are the premises that I want to start with before we get into the beautiful 5 systems. We have money, leads, referrals and visibility, the client experience, and then we have delivery. And so let's start with everyone's favorite, numbers! The game here, and listen, I understand if you're like, I'm not monies, I don't do money, and you want to fall asleep, you're welcome to take a nap if you want, but I promise you'll get something from this if you listen, even if it's not you. The game here with money, it's not about the accounting. It's about decision clarity. And I was the worst of them all. Whenever my mentor asked me, are you profitable? I answered, yeah, I feel like I'm profitable. Do you have a growth rate? Yeah, I feel like I'm doing good with my growth. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm doing great. I'm feeling my way through things in a numbers environment. Whenever this is a data-oriented section of your business. And so the reason for having a money system is so that you can, with clarity, have numbered answers and have confidence. And so you don't have to guess, is this the right decision? Can I afford it? Am I putting it in the right place? And so my big system for owners and people that are in charge of money is to have a 5-number dashboard. Here are the 5 parts of what you need to understand. How many of you are very familiar with a P&L sheet or an income sheet? Love it. This is perfect. And so for those that aren't very familiar, ask anyone who's raised their hand, especially if you know them, if you can learn from them, because there's so much to learn from P&Ls. The very short thing to understand, for those that don't know, revenue is in the top portion of this. The top portion is revenue, the bottom portion is expenses when you squint, okay? Revenue is all of the money coming in. That's the first number you need to understand. The second is expenses, but there's 2 types. The most important is operating expenses. Now, how many of you are incredibly familiar and are confident that if you printed your P&L, that your COGS or your cost of services sold are in the right place on your P&L? How many of you feel very confident about that? Okay, less hands, but there's hands up there. And I'm very impressed, those that you have your hands up there. I want to give an example of this. I was a staffing company, but I was incredibly expert at rentals because I was running events for catering companies for 15 years. So I was an expert on site doing rentals. And so sometimes clients would say, hey, do you also have rentals that you can get for me? And I said, okay. And so let's say in a year, I charged $100,000 and then I paid the rental company $80,000. Now for some people, they would think, great, revenue 100, 80 in expenses, that leaves 20,000 in profit. These aren't expenses because that's not part of my business. It's not an operating expense. Going outside and getting a rental company stuff is a cost of a good I'm selling. And so that shows up in the top portion of the P&L. And that's very different from the expenses I want you to track here. What I want you to understand here is that if you had no business at all, if no one was coming in, you had no sales, what are the expenses you still have to pay? The rent, the salaries, the insurances, the day-to-day expenses that happen even if you're not transacting business. That's what number I'm talking about here to understand. Not COGS, not cost of services sold. Third number is profit, and there's 2 profits. There's the profit at top, which is after the cost of goods sold, the gross profit. And then there's what all the money left over. And for you solo operators, you understand that number as my salary. I want you to understand both profits. And so the profit that's relevant, and so using that example with the rentals, my gross profit, if I sold $100,000 and I paid the rental company $80,000, then my gross profit is $20,000. But then I need to pay the rent, pay the insurance, pay my team, pay that, and then what's left is $1,000. Uh-oh, is it even worth it? Those are the two differences here. The fourth number here, hugely relevant, cash flow. Profitable businesses go out of business because they don't pay attention to their cash flow. If you don't have the cash to pay the bills and to pay the people that work for you and to pay the insurance and to pay for more, you might go out of business. And so these first three numbers on the income sheet, this third number is the cash number, to make sure you're seeing how much is there so that you can calculate the final number, runway. How long could you last if no business happened? This is your emergency number. Could you last 3 months? Could you last 6 months? Could you last 1 year? Having these 5 numbers in front of you is an exercise that if you're not already doing it, I would ask you to do it weekly until your fear comes down. And then you can move to monthly, which is more of an owner place, until you buy a company and you have a company underneath you and a CEO, and then you can move to quarterly. All right? So this is your 5-number dashboard for money. This is the exercise here to take with you. Second, let's talk about leads. There's so much I can talk to you about all of these different pieces. These are the high-level pieces that were biggest for me, that changed me, my business, and what my clients have told me has made the biggest difference. In a lead system, the biggest opportunity here is you getting in your own way. And so we need a system to protect you from you. What happened with me, my example story here, is that the New York Public Library in New York City also needs staff. And so I had the opportunity to put in an RFP for them so that I could be their go-to staffing company. And that would have doubled my revenue instantly had I gotten that. And I would reach out to, I knew the people at the staff, I knew the event planners, I had connections, they liked me, and they had a very specific date to which they needed me to follow up. So I followed up, they said, hey, follow up on this date, and then life happened, and I was doing this event, and I was doing that event, and then I forgot, and then the date passed. And that happened 3 years in a row. And so it was just lost business because I was getting in my own way. Life was happening, I was busy, and I wasn't following up. And so that's why a lead system is huge. So let's talk about how to categorize your leads. Had I had these leads categorized correctly and this system in place, I would not have had that issue. The first is understanding who are leads. Leads are literally anyone. Anyone you could contact is a lead. The second one is going to be what makes us different. Engaged leads are those connections that raise their hand. And so know the difference between those two. Leads are anyone, any possibility. For example, for me, in theory, every single human in this room is a lead. The engaged lead is when someone's like, you know what, I want to learn more about staffing, or I want to learn more about coaching. That's what makes the difference here. And then the game is, they're either, yes, I'm into it, and you convert them in a customer, so they're not a lead anymore, or they're a lost engaged lead. And that just means, for now, they're not going to be a customer. Now notice I don't put it by itself, I also put follow-up date. And that is the relevant point here, is the follow-up date. That you need to make sure you know when you're going to follow up and that you are being tickled to follow up, that you don't miss this opportunity. That is the biggest opportunity. Don't leave money on the table because there's people out there waiting for your business. And this is what's going to make the difference here. Whenever I'm teaching teams about leads, the big note I have, especially when you are the CEO, is that if it's not in the system, it's not a lead. What I'm teaching them is everything has to be in a system so that if you're away on vacation, my favorite thing, I can just jump into the system and see where you're at. And if you're not recording it in a system that you can share, if it's all up here, it's not systematized in a way that's going to allow you to go out. You're in the job still. And so get in the practice, even if you are a solo operator, even if your company doesn't do this yet, Get in the practice of writing it all down with the different categories, with the different statuses, so that at any point you can just give it away to someone and say, here, take care of it for me. And you're also improving your value when you do that. So let's talk about referrals and visibility. Your goal here is to make it easy for others to refer you. And so there's 3 best practices here. The first is a clear referral sentence. For example, I help LGBTQ and female business owners become vacation-ready CEOs. You know your expertise, I know business. What did I just say there? 1, who I work with. 2, the problem I solve. And 3, the results I create. Those are the 3 pieces that you want to be very specific about as you're creating your referral sentence. And let me give you a little secret. This is a referral and visibility trick, not a way to box you in. How are you going to differentiate yourself from others? For example, I help LGBTQ and female founders. Who's my most recent client that hired me? A straight man. Great, I can help him. I'm just clear to others how to think about me. It's up to the market to decide if they want to work with me, but I'm giving it, communicating it in a way that others can locate and think about me. And so the biggest miss I see here is not having explicit referral language. What I hear people say is, hey, if you know anyone, if you ever think of anyone, just think of me. If you know anyone, let me know. Versus, I would love an introduction to any LGBTQ or female founders that you might know. I love helping them become vacation-ready CEOs, and all owners have the same fears. So please, I would appreciate the introduction. Be very specific. Hey, why not? Shoot your shot. Ask for what you want very explicitly instead of the, let me know. I just want to burn that phrase to the ground. Just let me know, just if you think anyone, let me know. And let's move to visibility here. Successful companies, studies show, have 4 to 6 consistent visibility channels on average. Everyone is different. And I'll already tell you what all of your number 1 is. Referrals. When you get a referral, that is a visibility channel, and that's fantastic. There are still opportunities for you to reach out to those referrals more regularly and systematize it and have it show up in a way that is going to make it easier for them. But your goal is to get to 4 to 6 consistent visibility channels. And the game is to do 1 at a time. So if you've already done 1 well, and you've already done your second one well, let's add the 3rd one and the 4th one. I would not aim to do 4 to 6 overnight. That's gonna be, what's gonna happen there is they're all gonna be half done, and one of them will become a ghost town, and you'll get frustrated, and you won't see results. The game is work on a channel until you see results, and then move to the next one and add that in, and then move to the next one until you have it down. And so what are examples of visibility channels? Networking groups, associations, public speaking, social media. The list goes on and on and on. Just pick your unique 4 to 6 visibility channels. The principle here is if people can't explain you, they can't refer you. And one of the things about our industry in events, people often know what it is because events are very pervasive in our world, but what they may not know is your specialty. And so I challenge you to find and say what those things are that make you different from all the other competitors so that everyone knows who you are. Now, client experience, this is where we get to the contracts. I was so grateful to get an email ahead of time to be identified that Louisiana, y'all got some special common law, common law. Y'all follow common law practices versus civil law practices. Louisiana wants to be special and y'all are. The thing is, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to give you the legal techniques. I absolutely want you to do contracts. My whole premise here is to have clarity before you get to that experience. And so the top tips here are, hopefully, all of you have coming up emails. But if not, I want you to, and if you do, I want you to relook at them. If not, let me tell you about them. Before a prospect converts, ideally you're not just shooting over a contract and having them read all these terms and conditions. Instead, hopefully what you're doing is laying out the experience in human terms. Because I'm a human connecting with another human, sharing my services. So I want it to be really clear. This is what it's like to do staffing. Here's what's showing up with it. Here's what the experience is going to be like. Expect this. Let them know in a human way so that in that same email, you can include this line. Nothing in the contract should be surprising. We all know it's 2026. We are so distracted with our phones and like skimming and I got to get to the next thing. Who's going to really read the contract? And so you want to be in the place of assuming that they're going to be there. I'll tell you, I am. I read every single line. I find it fascinating, but not everyone does. And so in order to have the best clarity, explain everything you can in that coming up email and let them know. Nothing in that contract should be surprising. Let me know if you have any questions about it, though. I want you to read it, and if there is anything, please, I want to clarify. But nothing should be surprising because I went over it all ahead of time. Because as we hope for, a clear client is a happy client. This is why you have the contract to protect yourself in case, but if they're clear, then you won't have any issues because they know exactly your methodology. They know what you're delivering. You've been clear to them in a human way, and they're already feeling the calmness. I actually did this to you in person today before I did the breakouts. It is a very human thing to be in a room with others and think unconsciously, am I going to be judged? And so by me telling you, hey, first of all, here's what's coming up, solo reflection. Then we're getting in groups. While you're in the groups, you're invited. You don't have to do it. There's no advising, fixing, or correcting. That was my in-person way of doing the coming up email for what we did today. And so that way I'm lowering your defenses. And so that way you know exactly what's happening. It's the same thing when you're doing contracts and the emails before it. But hey, life happens. Clients come up to you and they're like, that was not what I wanted. I wanted this, I was expecting this. And you know what? That is beautiful to have that because every time a client is unhappy with you, this is an opportunity for you to improve your contract. And so I invite the dissonant situations. I invite the feedback because that's how you're going to learn and how you can modify your contract for the future so that it doesn't happen again. If a client is surprised, that means a system failed earlier. And so the question to ask yourself each time is, what system was I missing in my business that caused this? Often, whenever there is an employee issue, it's often that sentence, a system is missing. It's not about the employee, it's that, there was a system we were missing in our business that this employee couldn't follow. Now I could do a whole nother presentation on people. I do other presentations on people. This is the systems presentation, but this is just a true fact I wanted to add in. So now let's talk about delivery. Turning the good in what you do into the done work. You have booked the client, they're yours, they got the coming up email, they know how to explain you, they're happy, they're wanting to move forward. So what are the delivery system necessities? Now, we're going back to how do you leave? It is to have systems that have clear ownership, clear steps, and clear accountability. What do I mean? If you're away from your position, you want to make sure everything you're doing, we know who owns it, we know exactly what the steps are, and we know how we're going to check to make sure it's done. If everything in your business has all three, save those spoons. I'm saving my spoons for ice cream. This is how to do it. In the event world, the biggest not this I see is brute force. Because on site, it's like, here's the phrase, I'll just do it. Just let me do it. And listen, in events, there is time for that. You know, whenever the fire is literally right in front of you and you're holding the hose, put it out. I'm not saying not to do that. As much as possible, when it is not urgent, these are the things to build in every other system, to build in your business so that you can have the calmness that you deserve during an event as much as possible. Finally here, I want to just talk about the white fence analogy. So the metaphor I'm going to give you is that each of your businesses is a field, a metaphorical field in front of you. You as the expert, you know the best lighting in the field, the best position, where there's the down part, where there's the hills. Okay, the sun's here, so I'm going to build a stage metaphorically for the client here. And for this client, I'm going to build it over here. And I know which staff is in this part of the field, and this staff is over here. And I know the way the sun, all of this is the expertise and why you're in the position you're in. You're the expert in your arena. When you have employees or contractors, or anyone that's doing work for you, the way that they can be successful is that if you draw a white fence for them in the field. If there's no fence and you give someone a job, and this is one of those busy days, you're here doing this job over here, they're doing this gig over here, while you're at that gig, you keep looking back and are they doing it okay? Just let me do it. And then you show them how, you grab their arms, you're doing the micromanaging solution, which works, but it drains your energy. Instead, if you draw the fence, your values, the accountability, the next steps on how to do it, you don't have to worry. They can build whatever they want to build in that area as long as they're within the bounds of what that white fence is. That's the metaphorical game we're trying to play here. That's the point of creating these delivery systems, so that you become outcome-oriented, not process-oriented. When you are process-oriented, that's when micromanaging comes in. When you're outcome-oriented, the white fence is there. Creativity can be free. You can put that stage in the left corner near the fence, the right corner near the fence, right at the, as long as it's within that fence. Go for it. Have fun. You know my values. You know what I expect. Time to go on vacation. So here are the 5 systems. Easy, great, we got them. Simple on paper. But we're in the event world, and this is our reality. We're running around all the time. We're busy. We run on adrenaline, and it's exciting. It's fulfilling. It gives us all the feels. We have trained ourselves to feel good based on the wins, based on there's a fire, put it out. There's a fire, put it out. It feels good, and it's reinforced by our careers. And so I want to honor that. Your nervous system is so in tune to putting out fires that unconsciously we train ourselves to do this even more in the event world, that if something is not on fire, I don't get to it. And then we wait for the fire to show back up again. And I want to be very clear here. There's no right or wrong. If it works for you, I encourage you to continue. If these systems seem interesting to you, I want you to know it's not because you're bad at business that you haven't put these things in. It is because that's what our industry asks of us. And it's not your fault. The history of humanity is if we see a bear, we feel the fear and we run from it. And the event world is exactly the same. We feel the fear of our bride coming after us and we run. Yes, ma'am, I'm on it. And so whenever it's time to do the system work that it's not urgent, then we're going to just be on our phones because why not? That's easy enough. So how do you change that? You add urgency. You add a metaphorical bear behind you. And so I have some willpower hacks to help you because the systems are great, but humans need to build the systems and humans need to implement the systems. So what are the hacks here? Oh, let's first talk about little me because I'm not special here, y'all. I was the same way. It's hard to see here, but my eyes are wide as saucers because I was also in that place like, yeah, let's go, come on, fire, 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 let's make it happen. And the truth is, I didn't do it alone. I was able to have containers. I put myself in places that allowed for me to have this success, that allowed for me to get into a place where I can sell my business, that allowed for me to replace me as CEO. And it's because the containers were there to force me to do the work because I needed a metaphorical bear too. So how can we hack ourselves into it? The first is giving yourself financial stakes. If you put your money where your mouth is, things change, especially for people that have a high self-preservation instinct. I'm one of them. If you want to get me to do something, put money at stake for me. And then I'm like, okay, yes, whatever you need. The second one is scheduling time with others. I mean, listen, whenever there's a wedding or there's an event or there's something, a gig you need to show up at, you're there. But whenever you have to schedule time with yourself, well, you know, that's negotiable. We'll get there. And so another hack for willpower is body doubling or co-working. Give yourself a commitment to do the work with someone else so that you will show up. The third is public commitment. NACE is built for this. If you want to have an opportunity within NACE to share your commitment so that you have eyes on yourself, putting yourself in environments where you can say, I am going to get this done by this time, that is a big motivator because we're social creatures. We don't want to fail in front of others, and that is a hack we can take for us so that we can make sure we get the stuff done. If you're in proximity with others doing the same thing, that is a huge element to success. Well, you know, I'm going to give an example here. This is a shameless plug. I have a group called BizBrill. It is a membership group of LGBTQ and female founders or allies that are all in there to do the same thing. We're there to grow our businesses. And so if you're in a community surrounded by others, you feel that inspiration of, oh, they said that, I could do that too. Oh, that's something that they're doing. Why didn't I think of that? So being around others who are doing the same things as you is a way to get moving. And then finally, simplifying your environment. You want to remove the friction. And how do you do that? You build systems. If there's communities that already have the systems in there, that can also solve it for you. Insight is not what changes behavior. It's containers. Those containers that you put in for your life are what are going to make the change, what are going to make the difference for you. So it's important for you to find out what your containers are. So we're going to do another breakout here where you get an opportunity to meet with someone else. Now this one, I'm going to ask, if possible, you can still do 3, but I'm going to ask to see if you can get in a pair for this one. If it's 3, that's fine. But I want you, I'm first again going to give you 2 minutes to reflect on your own of what's coming up for you so you can have your answer first. And then we're going to break out into groups again and share what those are. And so what new idea or insight feels most valuable to you right now? So again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to reflect on that. And then we're going to break out into groups there. I'd love to, again, get some voices in the room. So I would love to hear what insights, what came up for you? What ideas or insights came up? What would you like to appreciate about what anyone had said at your table? Who would like to share? I want to get 2 to 3 voices in the room on this one. Who would like to share what happens? I hope you made some good connections, and I hope you got a chance to talk to someone new at one of your tables, that you got to know someone a little more deeply. Who wants to appreciate what someone said at their table or some insight that had come up? Yes, and also give us your name, please.
Chef Jason, St. Louis Ice Coffee. The bear and allergies. That was awesome.
Tell me more. Why did that hit for you?
I think you've been talking to my wife because she says I'm not right if I'm not under pressure.
That's real.
And you hit that on the nose. You know, like if things are going on, I'm trying to put out fires, I'm trying to get things going, but when things are calm, like you said, we'll take care of it. You know, but that was great what you were saying about get that metaphorical bear on that as well. So that was awesome. And I heard y'all talking about that too as well, right?
Yeah. Megan wants to give a waiver.
So I'm hearing them say, sorry, Chef Jason. Chef Jason was sharing that the bear was a big one for him, and it was a big one for me to have an awareness of, it's not my fault that I'm not moving. It's that we're wired to put out fires just as human beings. And in the event world, we encourage that. So it's an unconscious reaction to know that we're not moving unless we give ourselves the motivation. And some people have louder bears than others anyway. And so you can ask others for motivation there. And they're also good partners for this kind of thing. What else? Who else would like to share what came up at their table? Whether for you or whether something you heard at the table that you want to appreciate. Yes.
For now weddings.
Yeah.
I really appreciated the white fence analogy. I am very much not into micromanaging anything. So the idea of giving parameters so it's not this wide open, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to stay within, but to have that construct, but still freedom. I really like that.
Yeah, the white fence was a breakthrough idea because I'm someone that would lean on micromanaging. That is something I prefer to do. And it was the number one question I would get from event planners is how am I supposed to give away something? Now, this is leaning a little bit into the people side of things, but it's still going to be relevant for y'all to hear this. Part of the reason you got so good at what you do is because you made so many mistakes. That's how you got better. And we don't give the people that work for us the same freedoms all the time. And so we have to allow for them to make mistakes so they can become the next best person in line. And so the white fence is a way for them to allow them to play and find their own version of that. One more voice? Yes. I love that. I love that. Full circle moment. So, I'm an Enneagram professional. I don't know, that was probably on that first slide. And part of what I talk about, another talk I have, is all about personality and mindset and what's showing up for you as a human, because humans are the drivers of all businesses. AI is only a tool even. AI is this very hot topic today. But if you are not wired to move, if you are getting in your own way, if you don't have your own peace of mind, it's going to be a lot harder to make changes. And so I appreciate you bringing that up. By the way, what was your name?
Kenesha Richard with the course.
All right, Kenesha, thank you very much for sharing that. Hey, let's do it. Come on, y'all. I love my Texans. Thank y'all very much for sharing that. Now we have an activity, so if you can pull out your phones right now. Let's pull them out. And then also open your camera. Remember at the beginning when you said, Leigh, I'd be willing to give some feedback? Here is the opportunity. There is a QR code right here. It'll take 2 minutes. And there's also a website if you can't see it for whatever reason because of the sunlight, leighcambre.com/feedback. That's the website. But please, if you would, take 2 minutes to give me instant feedback. There's also some checkboxes on there. One I forgot to tell you about. One is the slides. Another is I have a 5-system self-audit I can send you. If that's interesting to you, just click the free gift box and I will send that over to you. And then also there's a box if you want to check to just chat with me. I'm happy to get on a call with you. So go ahead and take some time to fill that out. I'll give you a couple minutes there. If you're still writing, go ahead and finish that up. What I want to do here is ask you, like I said, integration is very important to me. So I want to hear what's one way you're going to show up differently, even slightly for today. And please raise your hand and share that. And then I'll give you one final story to wrap up here. But what is one way you are going to show up differently after today? Who would like to share something that's coming up for them? Yes. And please share your name. I love that. I love that. She shared that part of the way to move forward with her is to be appreciative of the mistakes. Know that she is a human being. Who else would like to share? Yes.
Lizzie Mayer, I'm with Messina's at the terminal, and I'm the secretary on the board. I think for me, it's to be more intentional about my bear. Because some of these are things that I did, but I didn't realize, like you named it for me, so that was really helpful.
She knows her bear and she's going to name it and she's going to be able to be more intentional about it. I love that. And I want to hear a bear name if you decide that one day. I love that. Who else? Yes.
I'm Jenna with the Chicory. I'm also the treasurer for NACE. Your part about organizing and having a lead system, I already do that, but I don't implement it to everyone else. So I feel like the only reason I can tackle so much is because I'm organized, so maybe spreading that out and showing them the lead system and being able to hand it off if I want to step away.
That makes me so happy to hear, to make that lead system formalized so I can give it away. There's nothing I want more than vacation-ready CEOs in this room, so I'm living for it. Anyone else want to share what they're changing as of today? One more? Yes.
She's your personnel.
Yes.
What I enjoyed about today was mainly the factor learning more about systems and hearing it to see like where the steps that we're missing helps us give it a better idea of like, okay, how can we repair what we just did to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yes, yes. You know, putting a name, a lot of the stuff that I talk about is common sense. It's stuff that you experience or you know, but you might not have language for. Giving it language allows us to make it concrete, to observe it, and then to ultimately change it. And so I appreciate you giving your attention and your time to this kind of thing, because that's what's going to make a difference in your business and move you toward the place you want to be. And so one final story I want to share here. There's a picture of me doing catering, and it was in the middle of it. It was later in my career from that picture of me doing this. It was later on. And the feedback that I got all of the time in that era was, Leigh, you're the calmest captain that I know. And at that point, it was an eye-opening experience for me to realize it wasn't because I never did that, because I did carry that anxiety in my body. And it wasn't at that point because I was working less or caring less. The reason was I wasn't carrying it in my body anymore because I had systems. The systems were carrying it for me. In this industry, we are taught to be the miracle. To save that wedding with that difficult client, but I did it. To work that 18-hour day, look at me, look how proud I am of that. Oh, the client gave me something last night and I changed it in time. We are taught to live on that. And if you connect that thread with growth, you're also taught to do all of those things and then more if you're the CEO and bigger. But martyrdom is not a business model. And so my truth for you that I want you to hear is that if the magic you're creating is causing burnout, that isn't magic. That's a transaction, and it is too expensive. So hear this. Y'all are doing such a good job of building the stage for others, protecting their memories and their joys and their moments. Now is your chance to build systems that protect you and your joy. Because your valuable asset that you have for yourself, it isn't your reputation. It isn't that amazing portfolio of things you did. Your most valuable asset is you and your personal longevity. So build those systems, not that so you can work harder, but so that you can work longer, as much as you want to, and find the joy again in what you're doing. Thank y'all very much. Thank you. Good, thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Wow, that's a lot to take away with and think about. Building fences, the bears, I love what you just said. Martyrdom is not a business model. Love that. Just a few things before we head out. One quick note in the program. Kara, can we invite you up, please, to share a few words about the gallery venue and Pigeons and some delicious takeaways that are available outside.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kara Pigeon, the Director of Sales at Pigeon Catering and the Gallery. Thank y'all so much for being here. It's a beautiful place. We'd love to have you anytime. We do site visits all the time. My sales team is here, if you'll raise your hands. We've got a card on the table with our phone number there and the website, so please take it with you. We also have a bridal suite upstairs that's available to all of the brides and any corporate that needs it. You can sell both spaces. During the week, you can just have what's up front, and then on the weekend, both. So if you have small meetings or anything that you need, you can have the space up front or the space in the back. It just depends on what you're looking for. So you can do both. But we want to thank you all so much. And Chef did a fabulous job today. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're selling king cakes today. We've been selling king cakes for the last couple of years. Our pastry chef does king cakes. Our specialty is our whiskey-infused king cake. The icing is infused with Big Easy, which is a local company, and it's delicious. It's not heavy. It comes out with like a caramel taste to it. So we thought we'd do a pop-up shop today. You're more than welcome to grab one on the way out. We'll be selling them. Any questions about the venue? Thank you so much.
I just want to say the food was amazing. I mean, everything is delicious. Okay, so I'm going to call up Jenna, who is our treasurer. She's got our 50/50, so get your 50/50 tickets out.
Okay.
And she'll let you know how much you want.
So we raised $100 in the 50/50 raffle, and Stacy is going to pull the winner. You can donate it all back, or you can take your portion of 50.
Let me get Leigh to come pull it. Stephanie's in the middle of the fight.
All right. 8162183. Who has it? Who has it? Oh!
Yay! Thank you.
Of course, the biggest bear in the room. It's the
$50. You can take it back. Oh, and she's going to donate it back, so it's going to go to Second Harvest.
Yay! Thank you, Megan. Thank you. It'll go to Second Harvest, which is our fundraiser partner. Okay, so next month, February 25th, we're going to be having a post Mardi Gras group therapy session at Copper Vine. Lots of wine. What's that? Oh, and headshots, with headshots from Anthony Lamoth. So if you need a headshot, put a little extra into coming. Last year, I forgot those headshots. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to get my headshot taken today. But anyway, okay, well, thank y'all for coming. Please, as a reminder, put your name tag. Where do you want them, Lizzie? On the front desk? Oh, right here? Okay, before you leave, your name tags. Have a happy Mardi Gras. Monica has the basket for it. And hey, we'll see you maybe across the street. And again, happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Thanks for coming.